Hey, been a while, but it's me, Narrative. First things first, I would like to thank my first 13 subscribers. I honestly didn't think I'd get that far. It's pretty neat. Second things second, I'm going to announce that I'm back. Not quite sure on that front since I'm still somewhat swamped with a few things, but yeah. For this video, I'll be showing you some of the things that I did in 2023. It may not be much, but it was honest work. One of the things that I worked on was a few stop motion videos that never came to fruition. So let's start with Drive, because all we need is Drive. Sorry about that. The video begins with Drive performing his speed drop on this box. Probably one of my favorite openers to a video that I made last year. Some basic articulation shots. Drive was pretty fun to play around with since there isn't much to get in his way, save for the large tire on his chest that hinders neck and arm movement to some degree. In terms of accessories, all he has is an additional set of hands meant for some of his poses. His weapons like the Dorju and Handle Can come with Type Wild and Type Technic, which were both a pain for me to get. Fortunately, Bandai came in clutch and decided to re-release Drive with the Heisei Generation Edition that comes with these weapons. I just wish that they offered it at a much fairer price considering that this is basically an almost decade-old figure. I blame inflation. Anyways, moving on, here we have another Kamen Rider figure, the Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider Kiva Emperor form. The opener for this one was a bit ambitious for me. I wanted Kiva to slice through the box with the Zanvat sword, but I couldn't quite pull it off. Editing is just plain out my weakest area. Kiva Emperor is probably my favorite looking Shinkocho Seiho overall. He's just so cool. He's oozing with regality, and the red wired cape is such a nice touch. Articulation wise, he's pretty good too. There's just one odd point of articulation, which is his tilting tits, as I like to call them. I don't really use them that much. I suppose it could help with improving his butterfly joints. As I said before, the cape is wired, but be careful with it. The cape has a tendency to flay out along the seams. It'll probably hold together well if you don't play around with it too much, unlike me. His accessories are plentiful. He's a complete package in this regard. He has a few signature pose hands and the fusilisses, the whistles, the things that you put in Kivat's mouth. Those small are removable and can be placed onto Kivat, whose wings have some degree of articulation. Not captured here, but Kivat can also be removed from the belt if that's what you want. The Zanvat sword is a good weapon with a few flaws. The titular Zanvat bat can be slid along the blade and there's meant to be a clip on the end to make sure that the bat stays in place, but on my copy it just swings loosely, so keep an eye out for that. Oh, for this shot, I actually used the Kiva series as inspiration for the rider kick. Yeah, I got lazy for this shot in the end since the stand is visible. It's very challenging to make sure the light remains consistent enough for me to erase the stand, and the photo box I was using wasn't giving out the best lighting conditions. In my following videos, I'll probably forego the whole erasure process. It just takes too much time for an effect That doesn't work all that well yet. Maybe in the future I can continue to work on it. Outside of Kamen Riders, I also made a few Transformers purchases. This one was my first attempt at animating figures of this type, so pardon the choppiness. This was the Studio Series 100 Rise of the Beast Bumblebee. Yeah, the transformation is a bit janky to say the least. I still have no idea how to pull that off, even after the litany of tutorial videos that I watched. Oh, and if you're wondering why my copy looks like that, well, it's because I custom painted the figure. I used the video in the description as the basis for some of the touch-ups I did. The vehicle mode was neat, but the arms were causing a few clearance issues on my copy. Like there was just barely enough space for it to roll, but because of the added stripes on the arms, it made it harder for me to do so. Articulation was adequate, not the most articulation that I've seen out of a figure, but it should be enough for most poses. The figure comes with a blade and, not pictured here, a blaster. It's just a fun figure, and lately in my area this has been lowering in price, so make sure to get it if you're a Bumblebee fan like me. The last review I shot this year was the Revoltech Spider-Man 2.0. I was in the middle of a move at the time and I was hit with the stop motion bug, so the background's a bit different this time. This figure had so much articulation that I had to reshoot the entire thing just to show it. An issue that my copy had was how his right arm kept getting caught against his clavicle. But I fixed that up by heating the area with a hairdryer and lightly massaging the area inwards, then placing the figure in some cold water. My copy still had a few QC issues, such as the right arm and right leg being too easy to pop off. I fixed the arm with some super glue on the joint while I just reconnected the right leg to its peg. Annoying, but you just have to work at it, though it seems to be a prominent issue lately with the newer Revoltech figures. The figure has a ton of accessories, a complete set of expressive hands, two sets of webs, and two fan webs, or spread out webs. Two web wings that connect via a peg onto the back, expressive eyes, one squinty, one curved, and one wide-eyed expression. The other issue that the neck has is because it's kind of bumping into the eye pieces. I'll show you what I mean. If you twist it fast enough, it's a bit hard to do on these eyes because I already modified them, but if you keep bumping them, moving the head around, you can see that one of the eyes is loosening, and there we go. As you can see, oh, just focus. one of the eyes fell off because of this back piece bumping into the neck area. Right. Now, the fix for this I found is that you should just clip or just cut a tiny bit of the eye away, and that should prevent it from bumping into the neck piece. An almost perfect Spider-Man figure, but it just had way too many QC issues on my copy. And that was all of the reviews that I shot for 2023. The other stuff I did this year was set up a Twitter account, which I will link in the description. And another thing I did was finally make my first diorama. It's a bit shit, but it was a fun process. I might make another one once I get some funds. So in total, that was 2023. I didn't do that much. I couldn't even edit my stop motion reviews, though again, I was just dealing with a ton of stuff. In 2023 just wasn't my year. I had a few health complications. I'm feeling fine now, don't worry. Been taking my medications and exercising well enough. Hopefully 2024 might be kinder to me. Who knows? I can't make promises about that, but I'll do what I can. Speaking of which, I have two objectives for my YouTube channel this year. First and foremost, make more content. I'll try experimenting more and building up my editing skills. It'll take some time since I'm trying to find a replacement for Adobe Premiere. If you have any suggestions, just leave it in the comments. Second, I want to reach 1K subscribers by the end of the year. I think that's a realistic goal, although I can't even imagine what a crowd of 1,000 people looks like. A group of people in the double digits makes me sweat already just thinking about it. And anyways, thanks for watching, and Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, you're still here? Alright, I'm going to give you a bit of a reward. Here's a sneak peek of my first review of the year.